Hey guys, this week we're going to talk about simple probability. I'm going to do some examples, but I want you to do the rest on the Google Forms, okay? And put your answers on the Google Forms. All right, so this is like the beginning of the unit. So I already wrote the definitions here to save time. So an experiment is an investigation or a procedure with varying results. As a science experiment, right? Think about something like that. So an example of an experiment will be, we're gonna use flipping a coin. Um, so when you flip a coin, you have two outcomes, right? So an outcome is a possible result from the experiment. So a possible outcome that is that you get heads, right? Now sample space will be the two outcomes that are possible. So it would be heads. In this case, it would be heads and tails, right? So that would be our sample space. Okay, so number one, it says, so I'm gonna do number one, you're gonna do number two. So give the sample space and number of outcomes for each experiment. So a state that begins with the letter O from the United States, I guess. So let's see, Ohio, Oklahoma, and Oregon. Those are the three that I can think of. So Ohio, Oklahoma, and Oregon. All right. So then there are three outcomes, right? Now you find the day of the week. So how many days are there, right? How many outcomes? Okay. So write the sample space and then give me the number of outcomes. Okay. So keep going. So the probability, what is the probability? So a measure of the chance of a specific event occurring. So note it as, so this is how you're going to find when we're looking for the probability of an event. Okay. This is expressed as a ratio of favorable outcomes to the total number of outcomes. So this ratio can be written as a fraction, decimal, or percent. So say as an example, 3/10, this is the total of the sample space, and this is the outcome, or the outcome that's, that will happen, right? Something like that will happen in the whole sample space. As an example on this one, I'm going to give this example. So give each probability as a fraction in simplest form, a decimal, and a percent. Remember, simplest form, you have to divide that fraction if you can. All right, so find out. So with this, you got to look at the spinner here. So if it's spun once, find the each probability. So the probability that you get a 9, so that would be 1/16. And then you divide 1 divided by 16, that's 0.0625. And that times 100 will give you the decimal, 6.25. Okay, so you move this twice and you get that, right? If you multiply by 100. Okay, letter B, that you get at least 12. So from here to here, right? So then you get at least 12. That would be 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So remember, it goes from 1 to 16. So 16 will be your denominator here in this case, right? The highest. So that's 16 possible outcomes. Now, if you get at least 16, that means that all the top numbers, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that will be your probability that you get at least 15. Now you divide 5 divided by 16. This is the simplest form because 5 and 16 are not, they don't divide. So it would be 0.3125. That times 100 is 31.25%. All right, so what's the probability that you get a perfect square? So a perfect square would be, so it would be this one, it would be this one, because 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 4 is 16. And I don't, oh, this one, 3 times 3, so that's 3 of them. Let's see, what else you got? 5 times, no, 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 no. I think that's it, right? One times one, I guess. 1 times 1, so that's 4, right? So 4 possible outcomes. So that's 4/16, which you can divide. 4 goes into 16, so that's 1/4, which is the same thing as 0.25, which is the same thing as 25%. All right, what's the probability that you don't, yeah, you get a number that's not shaded? So count them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7 over 16. 7 is a prime number, so we can't divide that. And our decimal is 0.4375, which is the same thing as 43.75%. All right, so what's the next one, right? Now you can pause this video as many times as you can, okay? We're just looking for basic probabilities here. What's the probability that you get a 2 or a 11? 2, right? Because there 2 only shows once, right? And 11 only shows once, so that's 2 over 16. And then you can divide 2, right? So 1 divided by 8, right? Because if you divide by 2, you get that. And then you divide 1 over 8. 1 divided by 8, 0.125, which is the same thing as 12.5%. Okay, multiple, that you get a multiple of 5. So we're looking for multiples of 5. So 5 times 1 is 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. And all those 3 numbers show up here. So 3, right? So 3 numbers show up. So you can divide this. This is all simplified. And then you find the decimal. 3 divided by 16, 0.1875, which is the same thing as 18.75%. Now, as a review here, first we found what's the highest number. That's your denominator for all of these. Then you start finding each of the probabilities. Now, each one should have a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. How do I find the decimal? You divide the numerator divided by the denominator. And how do I find the percent? You multiply the decimal by 100, or you just move the decimal to the right twice, and that's multiplying by 100, okay? All right, make sure you use your proper notation here and all that. Okay, the sum of all probabilities in a sample space is always equal to 1. Remember, it's like 100%, right? Okay, so with that, I'm going to do 2 more examples, and you are responsible for the rest. I'm going to put them in a Google form for you. Okay, so let's do this one. So a letter from the word probability. Now we have to count how many letters are here. There are 11 letters, okay? So that will be my denominator, okay? A total of 11. All right, so then the second thing that I have to find, it says the probability of getting a B. So how many B's are there in the word probability? There's 2, right? So that would be 2 over 11. That's it. That's all I'm looking for here. Now we divide 2 divided by 11, and I get 0.1818, and I multiply by 100, so that's 18.18%. Now the next probability, what's the probability that I get a vowel? Vowel, let's see, let's count them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 over 11. Now 11 works really nice because 11 is a prime number, so it's really hard to really simplify more than that. So then 4 over 11, you divide 4 divided by 11, that would be 0.3636, and then times 100, that is 36.36%. All right, so what's the probability that I get a Y? Well, how many Y's are there? It's 1, right? So 1 over 11. You divide 1 divided by 11, you get 0.0909 times 100 is 9.09%. And that's it. That's all I got to do in these examples here. Now I'm going to do this one, the one with the deck of cards. This information I found online. I'm never sure how many, because I don't play cards, but some people do, so you will know this information out of your head, but I don't. So there is a total of 52 cards in a deck of cards. There's 4 suits. There's 13 cards in each of the suits. Suits meaning, hearts and spades and clubs and whatever. There are 2 colors, red and black. So 2 of them are red and 2 of them are black. So meaning that if there are 4 suits, then there are 4 kings, 4 queens, and 4 jacks, and 4 aces, right? Okay, so what is the probability that I get a queen? So if we have 4 queens, because there are 4 suits, then we got 4 over 52. Now remember, 52 can be divided, so be careful there. If we divide 52, it's 1. You will divide 4 goes into 52. So that would be 1 over 13. And that is your simplest form. So 1 divided by 13 is 0.0769 times 100 is 7.69%. All right, so what is the probability that I get a red 3? So you have 2, so 2 suits are red. So that would be 2 over 52. And you can divide by 2, so that's 1 over 26. And then you divide that and you find 1 divided by 26, 0.0385, and you divide by 100, that is 3.85%. All right, so what is the probability that I get a spade? We said that each club has 13, so that's 13 divided by 52. And 13 goes into 52 4 times. So that's 1 over 4. 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. And then that's 25%. That's all we're doing here, guys. Just, just that. All right, another thing, this is important. Complement on an event. So this is when the event is not proper. It's not. So what's the probability that it's not going to happen? That's basically what it says here. So the complement of an event is a probability of the event not occurring, not happening. Since the sum of all probabilities in a simple space is 1, then the probability that it's not going to happen, so not occurring, it's denoted by this, but then it's 1 minus the probability of the event. So I'm going to do this one. So if the probability that it will rain tomorrow is 3/8, what is the probability that it will not rain? So that's easy. Look, 1 minus 3 over 8, right? Which is the same thing as 1 being a whole. So we get the denominator. So 8 divided by 8 minus 3 over 8. And then you subtract the top numbers. 8 minus 3 is 5 over 8. Now I have to switch this to a decimal. I get 0.625, which is the same thing as 62.5%. Okay, so easy. The first thing, we'll have a whole here, so you can use the denominator. So 8 over 8 minus 3, and then you just subtract, basically. 8 minus 3 is 5, and then you use the same denominator, and that's it. That's all you're doing here, okay? All right, so if you don't get, so watch out what, you got to count totals here. Be careful here, and let me know if you have any questions. You are responsible for the ones that I didn't do here. This is your first assignment, so watch the video. Thank you.